Last week, I released a video showing what we're calling the ugly roof strategy. So I hired a 20-year-old virtual assistant with zero roofing experience, and she had zero outbound calling experience prior to working with us. I gave her a strategy, how we were gonna find ugly roofs on Google Earth for free, or Google Maps. She was going to call those ugly roofs, or call those businesses with the ugly roofs. I gave her a script on what to say. I gave her a list of how to overcome those objections, and then gave her a spreadsheet so that we could track every single interaction throughout this entire process. Within the first few days, we had booked 2 inspections, one on a gas station and one on a roof that you guys got to walk with me in the previous video. Today, we're walking 2 more buildings, one on a strip center that's about 300 squares, and another one that's a little bit smaller, around 60 squares on a shingle sloped roof. In case you didn't see that first video, or as a reminder, the entire goal, or my hypothesis with this entire experiment over the next 30, 60, 90 days, whatever it goes for, is that I just wanted to prove that it doesn't take fancy softwares, it doesn't take expensive agencies. Anyone willing to do the work, even if you have zero experience, can generate, commercial roofing opportunities out of thin air. And so what we wanted to prove is that we could not only get on the roof, but that we could turn these into real opportunities. So I'm documenting the entire process for my clients and for you guys at home to watch exactly how we're doing it, and hopefully you can emulate the entire thing yourself. We just wrapped up inside doing discovery with the guy, basically figuring out what has their experience been over the past few months? What are they dealing with now? Tell me all about your problems. Why is that really a problem? All of those good types of questions. But now, he's had multiple roofers out here. He's had people tell him the craziest shit, from the roof, is decimated and needs replaced from the last hailstorm a few years ago, to, all kinds of other stories. But what we're gonna do is figure out what is the reality? What is the current state of the roof? Where's the roof at in the life cycle of its whole journey? And then we're gonna give him the real depiction of what we find. There's specific things that we've already predetermined that our sales reps, our other roof techs that are walking these roofs can actually choose from. So we're on a shingle roof, and we have everything, all we have to do is collect the quantity of, the area of the shingle replacement, or if we need to do underlayment and deck repair, and so on and so forth through this entire list. Just like if you were at a restaurant, or if you were gonna take your truck to a mechanic, it's all pre-priced. All the service tech does, or the sales rep does, is they have to go into the computer, put in how much you need of it, and the pricing should already be figured out for materials and labor. All right, just wrapped up the entire inspection here on the roof, and we looked at everything from, are there missing shingles? Is there algae growth? Do we have shifted materials? Is there debris accumulation? Has there been sagging or uneven roof planes? All the stuff. And so now that we've looked at every part and piece and crack and crevice of this entire thing, we're gonna hop back down in the truck. We're gonna assess all of our findings and figure out, does this roof just need repairs and a maintenance agreement? Does it need a rejuvenation system, since we're looking at shingles here? Or is it ready for replacement? So I'll let you guys know here in just a minute. So I had an inkling, I had an intuition that this was going to be the case. And so after we looked at the slopes, the flashings, the penetrations, and everything of the machine shop roof, the thing's just not repairable. And so what we're gonna do is we are gonna quote to replace the roof. We're gonna quote to replace it with just a normal like architectural shingle. We're gonna quote it to replace it with metal because that's what they asked for. And then of course we'll attach the maintenance agreement, and the dude was stoked. So he's like, it is what it is, and we'll rock and roll with it. That brings us to our second appointment of the day. We're getting ready to go inside. We're gonna grab some lunch here at the Mexican restaurant, because what else would you do in the middle of the day? And we're gonna kind of game plan on what we're gonna do, because we're walking the strip center roof in the strip center where the Mexican restaurant is. So we're gonna go in, get a game plan, go meet the guy here on site, and then hop on the roof. We're actually getting ready to hop on that roof. So we're gonna scarf this down, hop up there, and the dude is super skeptical, right? You know, we cold called him, it's an outbound appointment. So we gotta warm him up a little bit. So I'll let you guys hear a little bit on that conversation, and then we'll walk you through the entire roof inspection and kind of do our whole deal. Bit of a swift reminder that things don't always go as planned. So the on-site property manager actually was unable to connect with us beforehand, so we will not be doing discovery first. I got the bare minimum information from him just on the phone so that I understand what's going on. So we're gonna hop up on the roof. We're actually gonna do the assessment, like the roof conditions assessment first, and then we'll link up with him afterwards. Like, I just can't get over the fact that we're on this type of an opportunity from a girl, you know, a 20-year-old girl calling and setting appointments with people that have no idea that we even exist, right? It's just a whole like supporting of the idea that like sometimes it truly is just doing the work, right? There's no magic magic recipe, there's no secret sauce, there's no silver bullet. It's just doing the hard, boring things that no one really wants to do. I've only looked at one section so far, but I'm not seeing a whole lot of like cracking and splitting or anything like that. Now, this big hole here, this big puncture, that's a different story, but we'll notate that here in just a minute. A perfect example of, you know, roofs being just like cars, where it's like, dude, this roof isn't that old, but it still has its own version of tires and oil changes and, you know, windshield wipers that need replaced, because it's like you have these sealants, you have, you know, caulkings and things of this nature, but it's like they have to be tended to, they have to be taken care of, and when they're not, you end up, you know, with a lady down in the Great Clips shop talking about how this roof is more of like a funnel, you know, a waterfall anytime it rains. So yeah, it's just stuff like that. And it's the guys that come out here and slap these, you know, coatings on without knowing what they're doing, or actually like taking the time to educate themselves on the things that they should be looking at, that puts people in this predicament. The crazy thing for the roofers that this guy's been dealing with, this property manager's been dealing with, when they hop up here and they either throw some crazy quote to like replace the whole thing, or, you know, they've been slapping like all these coatings down, is that like, dude, this roof is gonna last 25, 30 years. I'd say on average, like if I just thought about, you know, EPDM roofs like this and all the other types of roof systems, it's like on average they last about 25 years, you know, depending on who you ask. But the thing is like, if that's true, if roofs last, you know, 25 years on average, that means that literally across 25 years, that 100% of the roofs in your market will actually need to be replaced. And if that's true, and we divide that 100% by, you know, 25 years, that means that on any given year, only about 4% of the market will need to be replaced. That literally means 96% of the market doesn't need a replacement. It needs legitimate repairs, like this roof hasn't gotten, but it also needs maintained. And so that's how we're gonna take advantage of this. We're gonna give him quotes to fix all of these things the right way, and then a maintenance program so he doesn't have to deal with, you know, other cats like this. I think it's just wild because like most roofers don't really think that way, right? They don't think about like, oh, how can I make this roof last as long as possible? How can I keep as much money in the building owners or the property management or the facility management company's pocket? Instead, they're thinking about, you know, their own pocketbook. But when you think that way, you're running a transactional model where it's like, okay, yes, we're chasing this deal, but then we're gonna, when we wrap up this deal or we close this deal or we don't, we're gonna then have to chase the next model or chase the next deal. Alternatively, like if you're not jumping from job to job to job and chasing one customer after the next customer after the next customer, you could be putting these under service agreements. You could be, you know, establishing an actual relationship with these property managers. And guess what? The guy that owns this property, you know, that manages this property or owns this entire complex or manages all of the facilities in this, you know, in this huge ass parking lot out here, it's like, this isn't the only building that he owns or the only building that he manages. Like, he probably has an entire portfolio that we're gonna try to, you know, we're gonna stick our crowbar in there and try to pry open. But like, that's how you have to start thinking about this business. Not like, oh, this is a huge opportunity. I could make a couple $100,000 here. Who cares? And if you guys remember a few minutes ago, I told you that this deal's a little wonky, right? The guy's super skeptical. He wasn't able to meet us out here on site, but he did give us permission to walk the roof. So I'm gonna do the bare minimum because I don't know what this opportunity actually looks like for us. Like, I don't know how legitimate it actually is. And so I'm not gonna spend hours up here dissecting every crack and crevice. I got the bare minimum. I fulfilled the conditions report. And so now I've just got to apply a grade to it and then do discovery to figure out, you know, what is the quality of this actual opportunity. And so the big lesson I learned here today is that not every opportunity is gonna go perfect. So the first couple roofs we looked at, it's like the decision makers were there on site. We had, you know, a clean and clear decision-making process. They gave us all the information. And then it was like we got sideswiped with an issue on the third property where the guy didn't want to meet us on site. He was a little apprehensive and so on and so forth. So just a quick reminder of something that, you know, a lesson that needs to be taught over and over and over again. Something we need to be reminded of is that they don't all go perfect, and that's okay. So we just got to navigate the waters. Sometimes the waters get choppy and, you know, we still got to keep sailing. So anyways, we're going to see, we've got like 15, 20 days left here in the first 30 days of this ugly roof challenge or experiment, and we're just gonna see how many roofs can we continue to book, how many of these can we actually close in the first 30 days, and I'll continue documenting. So if you guys enjoyed this, if you have any questions about this, leave me a comment below, subscribe if you want to continue watching this journey, and we'll see you guys in the next video.